Okay, here we come again. So there's this question under sinking fund. So what is a sinking fund? So for sinking fund, we can just say, so a sinking fund, we can say it is a fund that is set up to receive periodic payment. It's a fund that is set up to receive periodic payment. What do we mean by that? Maybe you want to buy something, maybe after 10 years, let's say it's costing maybe 100 pin, then you want to determine how much are you going to be depositing each year so that you can have 100 pin at the end of your period. So that's what we call the sinking fund. Okay, so let's read this question under sinking fund. So they are saying Thabo wants to buy a car estimated to cost 850,000 kwacha in 18 months time. The reasonable way to save money for it is to set aside a certain amount of money on a monthly basis and invest it at an interest-bearing account. So the account possible is one at a bank paying an interest rate of 12% per annum, compounded monthly. So Thabo wants to buy a car which is going to cost 850,000. Then he's like, okay, what can I do? Let me start saving some money per month so that I can have 850 at the end of 18 months so that he can buy a car. Okay, so we have been told that he can save in an account that is earning interest at 12% per annum, which is compounded monthly. So question A is saying, how much should Thabo be setting aside each month? How much should he be saving aside each month? So that by the end of 18 months, he gets 850,000. Then for B, they are saying prepare a sinking fund schedule for Thabo. Okay. So finding how much Thabo should be setting aside each month, we call it like periodic payment. What's the periodic payment of a sinking fund? How much is he supposed to be saving each month? Okay, so the formula for the payment each month is given as this for sinking funds. So the periodic payment for each month is given by future value. So it's future value, then we are multiplying by I, which is the interest rate for each payment period, over 1 plus I, then to the power n minus 1. Okay, so this is the formula for the periodic payment, or how much is he going to be paying per month. This is the formula that we use to find the periodic payment for a sinking fund. So future value is just the amount that you expect to receive at the end of the period. In this case, our target is to receive 850,000. I stands for the interest rate for each period. Then N stands for the total number of periods. So how many times is he going to make payments in 18 months? That's what N stands for, the total number of payment that will be made for all the periods. Okay, so then before we proceed with the formula, we can try to find I aside. We can just say data, we put what we have. Okay, so for the future value, we know that we are trying to get 850,000. Okay, what about I? So I is given by R over M. So R stands for the interest rate per year, then M stands for the number of compounding period in a year. In 1 year, the number of compounding period in 1 year. In simpler term, M, we can say it stands for the number of payments that you are making in 1 year. According to the question, we have been told that it is compounded monthly. So since it's monthly, meaning in 1 year we are going to make 12 payments. So our M in this case is 12. Our M is 12. R, the interest rate we have been given, is 12%. So as a decimal point, it's 0.12. So we can finish R by saying 0.12, we are dividing by 12, which is M. So when I do that, 0.12 divided by 12, it's giving me 0.01. So my I is 0.01. Okay, then what else? We need to find N. So N it's given by MT. Okay, so M stands for the number of compounding period in a single year. Then T stands for time in years. So our M, we have said, is 12 because it's compounded monthly. Then for T, 18 months. So 18 months, if we were to put it in years, we can say it's 1 year 6 months. 18 months in years is 1 year 6 months. That's like a year and a half. So to find N, we can say M, which is 12, then we are multiplying by 1.5 years, because 18 months is like 1.5 year. So when I multiply, it's just going to give me 18. So our N is 18, meaning we are going to make 18 times the payments for the entire period, like the entire duration of 18 months. We are going to make 18 payments. Okay, so since we have come up with the data, we can replace in the formula there and we find the periodic payment. Okay. So let's replace what we have in the formula. Okay. So we can start with our future value. So what's our future value? Is 850. So we have 850,000. Okay. Then what's our I? 0.01 over. Okay. Here down it's 1 plus 0.01 to the power n, which is 18, then minus 1. Okay. Then from there we can proceed. We can add what is down here. Then we say to the power 18. The answer that we get, we subtract 1 from it. So 1.01 to the power 18. Then what I get, I subtract 1. So it's going to be 850,000 times 0.01. Then for here we said 1.01 to the power 18 minus 1. It's giving me 0.196147475. Okay. Then here I can divide 0.1 by what we got here. So it's going to be 850,000. When we divide this side, it's giving us 0.0509820.48. So when we multiply, it's giving us 43,334.74. So this is our periodic payment. So when you are dealing with these numbers, you don't have to round them off. You only round off the final answer, because if you round off from here, the answer will give you something else. Alright, then for question B, they are telling us to prepare a sinking fund schedule for SAP. Okay, so a sinking fund schedule, it's a table. It looks like this. It has 5 columns. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then these ones here, the first ones, we can say beginning of the period. Okay, then here we can say end of the period. Okay, then what we have here, it's the payment, the period, sorry. So here we have period, it's period number 1. Then after that we have the accumulated amount at the beginning of the period. So accumulated amount. Then here we have the periodic deposit. How much are you depositing each period? Periodic deposit. Okay. Then at the end of the period, we can have our interest end for each period. Interest end for each period. Okay. Then here we can have the accumulated amount at the end of the period. Accumulated amount at the end of the period. Okay, so now the way it is for the sinking funds, payments are made at the end of the period. So meaning the periodic payment we have already found from question A. We say that each month this person is going to be depositing a 43,334.74 kwacha. So since payments are made at the end of the period, so let me just write here the periods that we have. So we have period 1, there's period 2, there's period 3, there's period 4, period 5, period 6, period 7, period 8. So these periods, they are going to go up to 18 because we'll make payments for 18 months. Okay, so they'll keep on going. So now for the first period, at the beginning of the period, at the beginning of the first month, we won't have n money. It will be 0 because we haven't deposited n. Then in this same period, we are going to deposit at how much? We are going to deposit 43,334.74. So this is what we are going to be depositing for each period. So in period 1, we are going to deposit this. Then since it's deposited at the end of the period, interest, there will be no money and no interest will be earned because it will be deposited at the end of the period. Then by the end of the first month, the amount of money that we have, it's 43,334.74. Okay. Then now when we go to period 2, at the beginning of period 2, we are going to have some money because there's what we deposited from the previous period. So what do we have? We have 43,334.74. That's at the beginning of period 2. Okay. Then periodic deposit, it doesn't change because each month will be depositing the same 43 that we found. So even in month 2, we will deposit the same. Okay. Then we go to the interest end. So here, finding the interest, we use the formula for simple interest. Finding interest, we use the formula for simple interest. So we want to see how much interest was earned on this amount, because now it's staying for a year. It's staying for a month. Since we are in month 2, what we deposited in the first month is earning some interest. So how do we find the interest? Okay, so interest is given by simple interest formula. So we can say it's PRT. P stands for the principal, R stands for the interest rate per year, then T stands for time in years also. Okay, so what's our principal? Our principal is what we deposited in the first year. How much was there? So in first year we deposited 43,334.74. So this is what is earning interest when we go to the second month, because it has stayed for more than a month. Then R, our interest rate, we were told it was 12% in the question. So in decimal points, it's 0.12. Then for time, since this is the interest for each period, so each period is lasting just for a month, so time is 1 month. And since we said time is supposed to be expressed in years, we are going to say 1 month over 12, since a year is made up of 12 months. So this is the formula that we are going to use to find the interest. So when we multiply this, it's giving us 433.35. Sorry, 433.3474 as our interest in the second month. Okay, so with that being said, we can get that one. Then we put it here. Interest end is 433.34. Okay, then after we do that, to find the accumulated amount at the end of period 2, so how much are we going to have by the end of period 2? So we are going to add everything, what we had at the beginning of period 2 plus what we deposited plus the interest that we have. Then we'll be able to find how much it will be in the account by the end of period 2. Okay, so when I add this plus this plus this, it's giving me 87,102.83. 87,102.83. 0.83. So by the end of the second month, this is what we have in the account. So the same procedure again, we start repeating it. We now go to the third month. So at the beginning of the third month, how much are we going to have in the account is what we had at the end of the second month. So at the beginning of the third month, we are going to have 87,102.83. okay. Periodic deposit, we are depositing the same. Each month we said we are going to be depositing this. Okay. Then interest. So interest, it's now this money here. What we had at the end of year month 2 is what is going to earn interest in the third month. So interest is charged on the principal of the previous month. How much did you have at the end of the previous month? Okay. So in the second month we had this. We can find 12% of, we can find interest on this amount. Okay. So finding interest, we are using the same formula, PRT. What's our principal? We have this. What's our rate? We have 0.12, which is 12%. What's our time? Our time is still going to be 1/2. Why? Because we are just finding the interest for month 3, like for 1 month. So time is just 1 month, 1 month. So we'll maintain 1/2 for the time. Okay. So when I do for the interest, it's giving me how much is it? It's giving me 871.03. Okay, so this is what it's giving me as the interest. Then to find the amount at the end of third year, we are just adding all the amounts that are here. Okay, so when we add everything, it's giving us how much? It's giving us 131,308.6. okay, so that's how we find the amount at the end of the third month. Okay, so when we go to the fourth month, the same process is going to apply. So what we have at the end of the third month is what will be there in the account at the beginning of the fourth month. Periodic deposit is still the same. Each month we are depositing the same amount. Interest, we'll find simple interest on this one. That's what we're going to put in the fourth month. So we are just repeating the same. What are we saying? In the fourth month, we are going to have 131,308.6, and we are depositing 43,334.74. So interest, we are finding the simple interest of this using the same formula for PRT. Where there is P, we'll put this. Our rate is 12 times 1/2. So when we punch, it's giving us 1,313.8 or 0.08, so of which when we convert it's 0.09. okay, then to find the amount at the end of the fourth month, we are just adding everything. This plus this plus this, you get what to put here, which is 175,956.43. 175,956.43. okay, so since there are a lot of months you can do on your own, so I'll pause. I just put everything, but for the final month, the way we do things is different. So I'm interested on how to fill up the final month, like your last payment. How do you feel? So I'll pause the video, I add everything here, then I just show on the last 2 months. Okay, so after you have filled in everything, when you're remaining with the last one, so for the last one, things differ the way we do things. If you remember what we were doing, we were starting with the accumulated balance at the beginning, periodic payment we put, we find the interest we put, then we find the accumulated amount. So for the last one, we start from here going this side instead of starting here going this side, but you start from this side going here. Okay, so we can start with the accumulated amount at the end of the period. So what we are trying to do is that by the end of 18 months, we are supposed to have 850,000. So this is what we are going to have as our accumulated amount. For the interest, we are using the same formula, which is PRT, of which we are finding the interest of this one, So our principal will be this, our rate we know and time we know. So when we punch, it's just going to give us 7,986.78 as our interest. Okay, so this is what we are going to have as our interest. Okay, so with that being said, then for the finding this one here, the periodic payment, that's where the challenge is, because at the end of the period it's going to be different. If you have seen from the beginning of the first month, what we are depositing is just one and the same, it has been constant, but for the final month it's different. Okay, so you can jump this one, then we fill in what is this side, how much was accumulated at the beginning of the first, how much was accumulated at the beginning of the 18th month. So what was accumulated is this balance that we had at the end of period 17. So we can put it here, of which we have 798,678.72. Okay, so now finding the interest, what we do, finding our periodic payment, we just have to say it's the desired amount, what you want to have at the end of all the periods, minus your interest, minus this amount. What you're going to have is what we're going to put here as our periodic payment. Okay, so we are saying for the final one, finding the periodic payment. So finding the periodic payment, we are saying it's what you want to have minus your interest, then minus what you had at the beginning of the 18th month. Okay, so when we subtract what is giving me, it's giving me 43,334.60. So this is what we are going to put here as our periodic payment. Okay, so if you have seen, it has differed from these other ones. We had 747474, but here we have 0.60. So that's what we do for the sinking fund. So just now the sinking fund has 5 things. There's the part for the period, accumulated amount, periodic deposit, interest earned, and also accumulated amount at the end of the period.